Hello YouTube, this is Namanjan coming right at you with a new tutorial. This tutorial is gonna be combat session 3, so part 3 of our combat system. And last time what we did is we actually managed to have an attack animation and also attack our opponent. Wait, actually, let me. And so we drag on our opponent to select it and we can press spacebar to attack our opponent. So now there are a couple of bugs. For example, we can attack the opponent when even though it is not in range and the opponent doesn't die once the health reaches 0 and some other stuff which we're going to finish this session. So let's go to a fighter script which is attached to our player. So go to your player or go in your asset folder. And what we're gonna do is we first need to check if our player is in range with our enemy. So we're gonna have a void in range. And actually, this is not gonna be a void, but this is gonna be a bool, because once we call the in range method, we need to find out if our opponent is in range with us. If it is in range, it's gonna return true. And if it is out of range, it's going to return false. So first we're going to say we're going to have if vector 3 dot distance. So this method is going to calculate the distance between our opponent and us. So we're going to say opponent, that transform, that position, and our transform dot position. So this method takes a distance between us, the opponent, and our position, and we also need actually a public float range. Okay, and we're gonna set this range in our editor, and then we're gonna say if the distance is less than our range, less than or equal to our range, we're gonna return true, because only then we're gonna return true when we are in this, when it is less than our range, when the opponent is in our range, or else auto indenting is really annoying. Sorry about that. And then or else we're gonna return false. Now the shorter way to do this is basically just saying return vector 3, sorry, just saying return this. That is just a shorter way of writing this whole code. But for now we're going to put it this way because this code is more descriptive and easier to understand. So now we need to check if our player is in range while we attack. So we're going to say if the player presses key and is in range. So if it is in range, and by the way, this sign over here is represent and, so both conditions has to be true to go through the if statement. And so now we're gonna set our range over here. One second, let me check what's the melee range actually. 1.25. So our melee range over here, let's try 1.25 and see if that works. So as we can see, we can actually attack while he's in range, but once we go away, as you can see, even though I'm pressing the spacebar, it wouldn't attack the opponent, but once he reaches in melee range, I can attack him. Now that we've got rid of that bug, we need to now let the enemy die once his health is 0. So first we're going to go to our mob script, which is attached to our enemy, which is already open over here. I'll just show you over here. And first we need to make a method to check the if our enemy said if this mob is dead. So we're gonna say, let's make it over here, void is dead. So we're gonna return a bool actually. So this method is gonna return true if the mob is dead. So you're gonna check if health is equal to 0, less than or equal to 0, return true, or else sorry about this, return false. Okay, and now what we want to do is, once our mob is dead, we want to play the dying animation. So we're gonna have a public animation clip die. And in our update method, we're gonna always check. First of all, we're gonna say if he is not dead, we can do all our normal operations. Good, we're here. Wow. This indenting is actually being a real problem. Okay guys, sorry, I'll be back by after I fix this indenting problem. Okay, so now I have an if statement over here saying if we're not dead, we're gonna chase the player. The mob is gonna chase the player. And else, if you're dead, we're gonna play the die animation, which is over here. I just added that. I just added die animation over here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna just drag in the die animation in your mob script, just like that. I've already done it. But before we actually play the script, I want to mention out one small bug when I click to move, because we keep on getting bugs as we add more stuff. So basically the bug is that if we click our enemy, our player goes crazy because it can't actually reach to the point. We're gonna actually go to our click to move script really quick and to our locate position, and where it says if hit collider dot. So this basically checks if you're hitting the player. But if you're not hitting the player, then only we're going to go to this line. And the same thing we're going to do with the enemy. I'm going to say if hit that collider. We don't dot tag. We don't want to click on the enemy, because if we click on the enemy, our player goes all crazy. I'm going to say if hit that collider dot tag is not equal to enemy, and all our enemies need to have a enemy tag, and it is capital E, and that should get rid of the problem. As you can see, as we click on our player, on our enemy does not create any problem. And now we're gonna attack our mob, and we're gonna actually check if you're losing health, because it does not seem so. Sorry, wrong script. Sorry guys, I'm really tired today, so I'm not doing a very good job on making this tutorial. I really apologize for this. And okay. And okay, we're actually, well, that's really strange. We actually don't lose health. Okay guys, I'm just gonna come back with this problem. I think it's because I didn't collapse. Let me check again. Collapse 60. Oh, that's strange. Ah, guys, I'll come back. I'll just come back. I just found the bug. I'll just be right back. Okay, so as you guys know, we actually found a bug over here, and I will demonstrate you the bug. It basically is when you drag over to our opponent, and you press spacebar and just hold it, you're gonna continuously attack, and the opponent is not gonna lose health. But if you leave your spacebar and attack it again, it's gonna lose health again. And that's because over here we say if opponent is not equal to null and our animation is playing, and if you have not impacted, only then you're gonna impact. But the problem is, if we continuously press the spacebar, our attack animation is continuously gonna play. And basically it's never gonna go through the statement, because it is all our attack animation is always playing. And we're never setting our impacted boolean to false. So it is never going to go through this statement, and it's never going to hit our opponent over here. So for that, we need to actually say to set our impacted variable to false when our animation is ending. So we're basically going to say animation tag.name .time. So we're going to say if the time is more than 90% of the length of our animation. So basically when our animation is ending. Tag .name is more than .length. And then basically you're also gonna say here and animation. Sorry, 1 second. Dot time is less than 0.9 times. I'll explain you in a second why. Gonna have a big. Yep. So basically, we want the animation time to be less than the impact, more than the impact time, but less than our ending time, and then only hits our opponent. But if it is more than if our animation is going to end, we don't want to hit our opponent anymore. If it is all confusing, you can comment or inbox me and I will answer back to you. And as you can see, after holding it, basically, even though I'm holding the spacebar, it continuously hits the opponent. Now as you can see, it plays the dying animation, but the problem is it plays it multiple times. Now we're gonna fix this. Gonna make a special method for this called void die, or we already have it. Sorry, this is in our fighter. We're gonna go to a mob, and we're gonna say void die or dead. We're gonna call it die methods. Not very creative, but just because we already have a die animation code, we can't name this a die. So now we're gonna make our die method over here. So first, as you can see, we have a die animation clip over here. So first we're gonna play the die animation. That name. So we're playing the die animation, and then we're gonna say if animation and square brackets, and then you're gonna say die.name .time. So we're getting the time, and if it is more than 90% of the length, so basically if our animation is ending, you're gonna say name times 0 points. So we're getting the length and we're timesing it by 0.9. So basically saying if the time is more than 90% of the length, we're basically simply gonna destroy the game object because we want it to go away from the scene. And we're gonna call the die method if you're dying. So if you're not dead, we're gonna chase, and if you're dead, we're gonna die. As simple as that. We're gonna play, and we're just gonna hover around our enemy and press spacebar. And as you can see, our enemy dies and destroys itself off the hierarchy. So there we go, a combat system. Or if you have a dying enemy, you don't have a lot, but in the next session we're gonna add a lot of stuff. Sorry for the not very exciting tutorial because I'm really tired and not very good tutorial. Sorry about that. But anyways, if you have liked my tutorial, please subscribe, like, favorite, and share my video and all the good stuff. Really helps me a lot. Thank you and bye bye.